On the night of November 14th, 1995, when Bus 375 departed from Yuanming Bus Terminus in China, heading towards Fragrant Hills in Xiangshan, not a single soul aboard, including the driver, could have imagined that this would turn into the most terrifying journey of their lives. It was the middle of the night, and the road was so silent that only the sound of the cold wind and the humming engine could be heard. On board were the driver, a female conductor, an elderly woman, a couple, and a lone man. Total 4 passengers. Suddenly, the driver noticed 3 dark shadows on the road ahead. Startled, he slammed on the brakes. Everyone in the bus lurched forward violently due to the sudden stop. And before anyone could even question what had just happened, the bus doors creaked open, and 3 strange figures stepped inside. 2 of them were holding the 3rd man, helping him board. But this 3rd man, his head was completely drooped down, hiding his face entirely. And here's where things get creepy. Those 3 people were dressed in traditional Chinese attire, resembling the style from the Qing dynasty era. Their faces, a terrifying shade of pale yellow. Anyone, you, me, any ordinary person, would have been absolutely terrified just by the sight of them. And that's exactly what happened. Everyone on the bus, the passengers, and even the conductor, grew visibly tense. They looked at each other nervously, silently acknowledging how unsettling the new passengers were. As the bus continued its journey through the pitch-black darkness, the tension inside grew heavier. The passengers glanced at the conductor with fear-filled eyes. Noticing their unease, the female conductor walked over to the 4 passengers and tried to calm them down. She said, "You don't need to be scared of those 3 people. Maybe they're just theater actors who got drunk after a performance and forgot to change out of their costumes." Trying to explain it away, she forced a smile, but something was still off. Sitting right behind the driver was the elderly woman, and for some strange reason, she kept glancing back over and over at those 3 eerie figures seated at the rear. She couldn't take her eyes off them. Until now, everything was still under control, sort of. But after 3 or 4 more stops, the bus halted again. The young couple stood up and quietly got off. Now, only 7 people remained on the bus. The driver, the conductor, the 3 strange passengers, the elderly woman, and a lone man. As the bus drove deeper into the dark and silent night, the atmosphere inside began to shift. Suddenly, the elderly woman started behaving oddly. Out of nowhere, she pounced on the man sitting in front of her. She began yelling at him, calling him a thief, accusing him of stealing her wallet from her bag. The conductor rushed over and tried to defuse the situation, asking the woman to calm down and explain what happened. She insisted the man sitting in front of her was the one who stole her wallet. Now accused, the man didn't stay quiet. He fired back, arguing with the woman, claiming she was lying. Their argument grew louder and more intense until the driver had to stop the bus to intervene and calm them down. But the old woman wouldn't let it go. She angrily told the driver to stop the bus so she and the man could go to the police station and sort things out. Now, whether the man had actually stolen her wallet or not, only the police could prove that. So the driver pulled over and let them both off. The elderly woman shoved the man out of the bus, got off herself, and the 2 of them started walking toward the nearest police station. This entire situation had taken some time, so the driver decided not to wait for them. He started the bus again and continued towards his destination, a decision that would become the biggest mistake of his life. Because the next morning, terrifying news broke out. The bus never made it to its destination. It had vanished completely. The driver, the conductor, and the mysterious 3 passengers were all missing. Police launched a massive search operation, but not a single clue or trace of the bus was ever found. And naturally, suspicion turned toward the only 2 people who had gotten off the bus before it disappeared, the elderly woman and the man she had accused. But here's the chilling twist. As soon as the woman and the man got off the bus, she immediately turned to him and apologized. Then she confessed everything. She told him that the theft accusation was fake. She only did it to save both of their lives. You heard that right. She explained that during the ride, she had grown increasingly suspicious of the three strange passengers, and at one point, when the bus was speeding down the road, she noticed something that chilled her to the bone, something she couldn't ignore, because as the cold wind fluttered through the bus, it lifted the traditional robes those three were wearing, and what she saw underneath, they had no legs, their feet, their entire lower halves, were missing. That's when she realized they were not human, they were ghosts, or spirits, or something far more terrifying. The man was left speechless. His heart dropped. He was frozen in fear. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. But deep down, something told him. She was telling the truth. Anyway, somehow the man managed to calm himself down and called the police. The two of them reported the entire incident that had taken place the previous night. After the bus went missing, the elderly woman and the man were questioned again by the authorities, and once more, they recounted everything they had seen and experienced. Now, the police didn't believe a single word of their story. They dismissed it outright. But the media? They went wild with it. Several newspapers ran the story on their front pages. The elderly woman and the man were even invited on live television for interviews. The entire country of China was buzzing with the story. It spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, there was immense pressure on the police to find the missing bus. Everyone was asking the same haunting question. Where did the bus go? Search operations continued for 2 straight days, and then suddenly, the missing bus was found. It had been discovered submerged in Miyun Dam, about 100 kilometers away from Fragrant Hills. When the authorities pulled it out of the water, they were met with a chilling sight. Inside the bus were 3 corpses, all in a terrible state of decay. Later, forensic identification confirmed that 2 of the bodies belonged to the driver and the conductor. But the third body, that body remains a mystery even today. No one knows who it belonged to. No ID, no matching dental records, nothing. And the bizarre thing, all 3 bodies were horrifically decomposed, as if they had been dead for much longer than just 2 days. Experts found this deeply suspicious, because here's the thing, even in summer, it takes at least 5 or 6 days for a body to decompose this badly, and this was winter. So how did the bodies rot so quickly? What exactly happened inside that bus? That mystery only deepened when the autopsies revealed something even more shocking. There were no signs of external harm or violence. It was as if they had simply rotted from the inside out. The deeper they looked, the weirder it got. Whispers began to spread, rumors, fears, and theories. Because if the driver and conductor were found, then who, or what, was the third body? There wasn't enough fuel for the bus to even reach Miyun Dam. And when the police opened the fuel tank during their investigation, they were shocked to find it wasn't filled with petrol at all. Instead, the tank was full of blood. To prevent mass panic, the police kept this discovery from the public at the time. They didn't want to cause widespread fear. They also examined all the surveillance cameras around the Miyun Dam area. But here's the crazy part. None of the cameras captured the bus entering the dam. Not a single camera. Not even a glimpse of the bus in that area. In fact, the police couldn't find any trace of the bus anywhere near the far side of the dam either, which was mind-blowing. Even today, the story continues to circulate online, and we still come across various versions of it. Some versions are the same, but in others, it's revealed that the bodies of the driver and the conductor had their necks twisted in a horrifying way, almost as if someone had intentionally snapped their necks. Not only that, in some versions of the story, the third unidentified body is completely removed from the narrative. It's as if it never existed. And as for the year this event took place, there are discrepancies in that too. Some say it happened in 1995, others say it was 1992, and a few versions even claim it happened in 1993. Because of all these conflicting details, many people don't believe the story is true at all. Some argue that this entire tale was probably fabricated after the disappearance of the bus, created by the elderly woman and the man to gain attention, especially after their live interviews. It's not uncommon for people to create such stories to get famous, and it seems that this could be just another example of that. But if this is just a figment of someone's imagination, why didn't the police clear things up? Do you think the police deliberately misled people? Or perhaps they found something that they didn't reveal to the public because it would have scared everyone? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below.